Hello. So I wanted to give a new plant update for the dust plants. As you can see, this orchid, I did show this the last video. At the time of the video, I believe I had this about a month, and then it has been a month since that video. So maybe I've had it roughly around 2 months, maybe a little bit longer at this point. But I was waiting for all of the flowers to drop so that way I could get it out of that bark, move it over to water culture. I could tell that some of the roots were starting to rot. Typically when you get an orchid, they've been in that medium for a little bit, and over time the bark starts to break down. It just creates an acidic environment, and it can cause root rot. So I have only ever really had success with orchids in water culture, and typically it's just been with the mini Phalaenopsis. So this is just a regular Phalaenopsis, so we'll see how this goes. But this spike right here was the first one to drop all of the flowers. So I just cut it right below that last node that did bloom, and these top two are starting to do something. I thought typically it'll branch out from this top node, but it looks like again these top two are doing something, so I'm not too sure what's going on here. We'll have to wait and see how that turns out. And then this spike did just recently drop, so I cut it as well, and then of course moved it over to the water culture. It does also have some new roots in here, some really nice ones. It's kind of hard to see because the glass is a little foggy, but yeah, all these white roots, these are newer roots. So she's definitely still growing. We'll have to keep an eye on her and see how she does. And then this mini Phal, I had recently moved it over to pond recently. I say recently, but it had been a couple of months and it quickly declined. I think it just wasn't maybe not getting enough air to the root system. So I moved it over to just straight water culture, and it's starting to, it's finally starting to get some new roots here. So that'll be a new little root here. And then it actually has a little baby off to the side here as well. And then it's doing, it looks like it's spitting out a flower spike. So the flower spikes will come in between the leaves right there where the roots are typically off to the side. So again, I think that's a flower spike, but for the sake of the plant, I hope not, just because it really needs that energy for roots and leaves, especially after it was almost murdered in pond. So we'll have to wait and see with this one as well. And then this one, I've shown this as well as, this is the Carla Pap crossed with the Carla Port. So this is the new leaf, and then the roots are really starting to fill out a little bit. Again, a little bit hard to see, but we'll keep an eye on that. This one is new. It's a Ralph Lynam crossed with a Fort Sherman, and then that was crossed with a Dark Phoenix. So I'm actually really excited to see what that's gonna look like, especially when it matures. This Hoya, I did show this. It had a bunch of baby leaves last time I showed it. So those are now getting large, and she is filling out quite nicely. This guy back here, this Hoya, has a new leaf as well that's coming in. And then this, the Anthurium Ace of Spades. This is another one. I'm just so excited to see what it's going to look like when it gets large. This leaf is still a little bit sharp, it's still a little bit soft. It's still a little bit new. I just love the sheen on this. It doesn't show up as well on camera as it does in person, but it reminds me of the chameleon paint. It's absolutely gorgeous. Again, the leaf is still soft, but it's definitely sizing up from that last leaf. We'll have to wait and see how big this one gets as well. And then hopefully she'll give me a new leaf soon. Another one super excited for. So I just basically wanted to show these orchids and show this big one with the flower spike that looks like it's going to be putting out with some new flowers, and then also just show you that I did go ahead and move that over to water culture. So